This is Easter Monday. It's the last day in our Holy Week cycle. I'd like to include the story of Emmaus, which is often um, only read on Easter evening. Make that the Easter Monday reading because I think it gives us a sense of how to respond to the news of Jesus' resurrection, how to respond to Christianity in general, how we develop faith, when we how we process the witness of others. The story goes that Clopas and a friend, you know, the patriarchal translators interpret this as another man. Others connect him with a woman. Really doesn't matter that much. But they invite him to their home after they've spoken with him at length, and then he's always asking them, like, I mean, Jesus is with them and he's asking them, why don't you believe this stuff? Showing them what was in the Bible, where the proof is, essentially. And the Gospel of Luke does that a lot. It very rarely is the experience what the women had in the tomb. Most of the times when people are challenged with Jesus' teachings, they ask questions, they push back, and that's what this couple did. They pushed back, and they needed to have it talked out with Jesus. And then when Jesus broke bread, they realized who it was, and Jesus disappeared. There's a following story in the at the end of Luke 24 that talks about when these two got back to where the other disciples were, and then Jesus shows up to them again and asks for food and why can't you believe and whatever else. It struck me two things actually. One, that this couple was obviously at the Last Supper if they recognized the breaking of bread. So that mythic assumption that there was only Jesus and the 12 hidden away in an upper room, no, there was more people there. The other thing, though, that struck me as we go through Luke 24, we have three very different ways for people to discover faith, to discover the significance of Jesus, and essentially to experience resurrection, or rather witness resurrection. The first is the women at the tomb. They just believed because knew something was going on, and they were given the word, and that was enough for them to go and share it. The next couple, Cleopas and whoever his companion is, they felt something. They knew it was there, they knew the truth, and it was through dialogue that they eventually got to a point where they recognized who Jesus must have been in a simple act, and then they felt it, then they believed it, because they started off feeling very, very upset and disappointed. And then the third group, the actual disciples, they needed to actually have an encounter. So often, I think, as people of faith, as leaders of faith, we want everybody to have the first experience. Just take what we say, believe it, keep on going. Very few people actually have that as a lived experience. The second group, they challenge us more, but maybe that's the most authentic way going, is that they feel something, they want to know more about it. They keep pushing and pushing until they get to a place where they can recognize the truth in what's being said. And the third group, prove it to me, that's a hard group to work with because nothing we can do on earth is going to prove the existence of Jesus Christ. We have to feel it. That's the faith. They were only able to believe something because they could actually see and touch and watch. Faith requires something that is beyond confirmation. It is an experience of emotion. It's a working through our thought process about how to approach it. But it is the realization, the awareness that there is something significant here that we have to share. Those disciples going, or the followers rather, going on the road to Emmaus, they were upset. They were so disappointed. They had been followers for a while and they were hoping that all of this would not come to fruit, that Jesus getting more and more in trouble with the people at the temple would not actually end with his death. They needed the opportunity to realize that it wasn't the end. They left before they had more chance to meet with people, although they did hear about the women from the tomb. So, all of these ways of approaching faith are practiced regularly, are seen regularly, are legitimate. But I think when we feel something in our hearts, when even if it doesn't necessarily work with our minds, there's something there to hold on to. There's something there to develop. And by all means, keep asking questions because you didn't get the answers on Emmaus unless they did. Jesus was good with that.